Hello, everyone. We are continuing our coverage of the off-cycle elections in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi states in Nigeria. And, well, the program has actually been on all day, even from yesterday, monitoring the exercise. And now we understand that sorting and counting is ongoing in a number of polling units. We'll be bringing you updates on that on TVC News. I'm here with Theophilus Ilama, my colleague. Theo, it's good to see you this evening.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be here. Of course, we're monitoring the elections, and our correspondents are all around Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa states doing the needful, bringing us up-to-date information on the situation in those three states. Of course, it's the off-cycle elections, and so we'll be bringing you updates and feedback as we get them.
Indeed, and the exercise actually kicked off at about 8:30 in the morning, because INEC had promised that accreditation and voting simultaneously from 8:30 a.m. It should end at 2:30 p.m. But if there's anyone on the queue, as at that time, that individual would still be allowed to eventually cast the ballot. We'll definitely be bringing our correspondent as the program continues for development where they are. Already, you know, some developments are there. We're already hearing about ballot boxes, result sheets.
Result sheets showing up.
Yeah.
Field result sheets.
Field result sheets. And of course, INEC has spoken about that, the fact that they're looking into it, they're taking it seriously, and they're investigating that. And also from Kogi State, we heard of one of the governorship candidates who
refusing to cast his
refused
ballots.
to vote.
Refused to vote, saying he doesn't want to give the elections a legitimacy.
Well, we'll get to discuss all of that. And then that particular call now from former President Goodluck Jonathan, that an end should come to off-cycle elections in Nigeria. We'll be taking our guests up on some of those, to ask about the feasibility of that, what has to go in to actually make that happen. We're not doing this alone. We have with us in the studio Lester Wilcox. He is a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. It's a wonderful time to be in the midst of two heavyweights.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks a whole lot.
I'm grateful.
You're welcome, sir. So let's just take a moment, and then when we come back, we'll delve into the issues fully. Remember, it's a special coverage of the off-cycle elections in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi State. It is Saturday, 11th of November 2023, and residents of Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi State today trooped out to actually vote who their next governor would be for the next 4 years. And we are monitoring the exercise here in TVC News. You can watch this, of course, live on TV or on YouTube as the program continues. Now let's get into the discussion. Mr. Wilcox, let's begin with your assessment now of the exercise so far. You have monitored, you have heard people on the field talk about what their experiences are. How would you evaluate it?
Well, thank you for having me. And let me also congratulate INEC for the humongous task of conducting elections. It's just about barely 9 months we had the general elections, and now we have to have this off-season election. So it's quite a humongous task in terms of logistics and all whatnot. So far, I have from your network and from some other network that have monitored, even from the social media. Well, it came with mixed feelings, which is not unexpected. You know, rumors will be rife. A lot of conjectures will go on. A lot of accusations will come in. A lot of, and we have some people who say it is peaceful, it is clear. Others will tell you they don't want to give credibility to the process and all. So for me, it's rather too early in the day to have. But in all, it is not unexpected what we are hearing now. The cacophony of voices that we're hearing now is not unexpected. It has been our being. This is who we are. Each time an election starts, we have misgivings, where some people say it is free and fair, where some people say the process is okay, some people say, oh, it didn't work out, this does not happen. So several things, and today we're having this election in 3 states, which is quite unusual of INEC. Most times, even off-season election, they do it state by state. But I think this time around, they choose to look at, even though the 3 states do not have the same handover dates, the handover dates are different, but they choose to conduct it so long as it's within the 150 days constitutional requirements to conduct the election. So they just choose to conduct it in the same period so that they will just put their help all there. Because I tell you, more elections are coming. Because more by-elections now, let's call it by-elections are coming. Because I remember, you know that so far the court has sacked a lot of House of Rep, a lot of senators, a lot of House of Assembly members. So these elections are in the offing. Maybe in the next 1 month or 2, you also find INEC in the field conducting this other election. So I think it's quite a humongous task, and let me commend them so far.
So let's quickly ask you about this off-cycle election that you mentioned as well, and we're experiencing. Former President Goodluck Jonathan, while voting, called for an end to off-cycle elections, telling or calling on the legislature to have a constitutional amendment, amend the 1999 Constitution to ensure that we have unified elections. What's your take on that?
Sincerely, I do not know where the former president is coming from. Well, at that level, he's a big man. He has seen it all. So I don't know where he's coming from. But you know, the off-cycle elections came up as a result of the court judgment, excuse me, the court judgment obtained by Mr. P2B in, is it 2005 or 6? No, 2008. 2008. Okay. That's 2008, sorry. When, 2007. When his term was supposed, when, you know, he was sworn in 2 years plus after that he held sway. Yes. So INEC conducted a general election, saying there's a general election for everybody.
And he went to court.
And Mr. Uba was sworn in after as the winner of that election, and he ruled for 16 days, the shortest governor in Nigeria. He ruled for 16 days when the Supreme Court, who ruled that the tenure of a governor or a president starts from the day he takes his oath of office. The Constitution says 4 years from the day you take your oath of office. So the off-season election came as a result of now. Anambra, and they all came out of judicial pronouncements of winners, and at the time they were sworn in. So it now dovetailed to that of
Edo State.
Edo,
Ondo,
Ondo,
yeah.
Ekiti, what do they call him? Ekiti, you know the verb between what Fayemi and this guy went through, and then no, not Fayemi and Oni, what they went through, then Adegbeshola, and then now it went to Kogi and all that. So I don't think it can end, except you want to say that just like the legislature, the legislature is seen as a body. So the day of the inauguration, they are all inaugurated as a body. So there is nobody that is outside that inauguration. So even if you come in 2 days to the end of that inauguration, you are still covered by that, just like a parliament.
Okay.
So that is why that one is different. But a governor takes an oath of office, and the constitution says from the day you take your oath of office.
Doesn't that put a strain on the activities of INEC, because they have to conduct elections almost every year? Next year we're going to Edo State and Ondo State, and before you know it, we're getting to Anambra State.
Well, let's hope that some other states will not join that fray, because some states now, like Kanu, like I think Plateau thereabout, have also notified governor's election. Now, how did Imo join this fray? It was at the result of the Supreme Court declaring Uzodimma as winner after almost 9 months into the election that brought in the other man. What was his name? The former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, Ihedioha.
Yes.
So Emeka Ihedioha. So that was what brought Imo to the fray. So if maybe what do you call them, Kanu, now joins the fray. You accept you are saying you accept you are going to say that despite when you were inaugurated, just like the the assembly, because assembly is one body,
okay,
you will run to the end of that period. So that if that comes to be, but if not, we must have these off-season elections will continue. I mean, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Even in the US, there are some elections that takes place not at the normal, regular, because they have a 4-year mandate. So as at the time you start, so I don't think that call from ex-president, from former President Jonathan, might see the light of the day. It's for me best advice, because you cannot. Okay, look at even his state is involved, because you know what happened with his state. To me, Preserver's time and so that's all that came to came to play. And then as at the time Saraki Disin was sworn in, his term starts at that time.
And perhaps this also raises the issue of the court having what you can call the final say. Ideally, it should be the people who go to the polls who elect whoever they want to be their representatives. But somehow you find that upturned, sometimes in the law courts.
Well, the law court does not go, they are not meddlesome interlopers. They do not go fishing for who to nullify his election, who to install. Now, our laws provide the fact that if you are aggrieved, you approach the court. Now, the court is not the one that elects for you. The court will review the evidences of the people that have been elected, of the people that did the election. Now, what the court will judge on is the information you give to them. That because, okay, I was cheated. I was cheated, and therefore I come to the court. The court will look at my documents. Okay? In polling unit A, you scored 10,000 votes or 5 votes. So they will add it up and say, okay, truly, you were cheated. So they will not declare you the rightful winner. It's not the court that declared it that elected you. It is the people, and so the court only validates the mandate of the people that was wrongly given to another person. So that is what exactly is because I mean, if you look at what happened in the case of Hopu Dozema, often a lot of people said the court is a Supreme Court governor, and I just laugh at either mischief or Nigeria we play a lot where we are a comedious nation, or either comedy or something. Because what Hopu Dozema took to the court is my vote for 388 polling units. Now, the result of 388 polling units was not tallied into the tally by INEC. And that's why he took to court. And that's why so when the court looked at the evidence he brought, that 388 polling units were not tallied, and they discovered that, yes, those results were actually not tallied. Were they fake results? Did they obtain them through the back door or whatever? But the fact that the court was satisfied that those results were not imputed into the tally. So they have to impute it and then compute and make it declare a winner, which is quite different from Bayelsa State. Bayelsa State, although Diri was a Supreme Court governor, what happened in Bayelsa State? It was not even Diri that went to court. It was within the APC family. I think somebody went to court to say the man that was nominated, that the standard bearer, was not, the deputy governor was not qualified. It was a pre-election issue. The deputy governor was not, that he had so many encumbrances to him being on that. Remember, he was a senator. Nobody challenges being a senator. Yes. So they said his name in one document is this, his name in another document is this. And so the court arrived at a decision that this deputy governor, which is part of the ticket, was defective. Now, people are saying, okay, you could have excised the deputy governor and leave the governor. Remember, that judgment came a day to the swearing of the governor. The man was in the field practicing, doing his practice. That's talking about a lion. Was in the field doing practicing how to salute, how to. When news came from Abuja that Oga, no be you again, no. Then we will say it is the Supreme Court that elected him. Also, of course, it can be argued other way, but the fact remains that somebody has to go to the court to say this man, because there are laws for you to be qualified. So did he meet all the criteria? So what the court did was to annul all the votes he scored. Annul all the votes that APC scored and then ask INEC to recompute. That was how Diri became a governor. So Diri can be rightfully said to be a Supreme Court governor in that sense, but I don't think he is, because it is what people take to court that the court will adjudicate on. They will not come to you and say, I didn't like this election. Even if the judges are watching the TV and see people carrying ballot and running, they will not come to you. They will not sit there in their chambers and say, we saw it in TV. Let us annul the election. No, you must come to them. And even if you come to them, you must bring the requisite evidences that will authenticate your case for them to even give you whatever reliefs that you're asking for.
And the burden of proof is even on the prosecutor.
Yes, it's on you. It's on you that alleges that. And they say election matter is even harder in terms of burden, because you are talking about, let's take a presidential election, 178,000 polling units. We're not even talking about states. We're talking about polling, because it is the polling units that you must have a problem with. You don't have problem with the state result. You have problem with polling units because what was in the polling? Because the polling unit is where the people voted. So it's because they say lawful vote. So it must be vote that is cast by the people that must be tallied. So it is the polling unit. So if you don't have your polling unit results, that is what you should not be sure is that result that enters the local government coalition sent result and then move on to the state and then to the national. Same thing to state. So I want to use this medium maybe to tell the contenders in this thing, please make sure you have your polling unit results. Don't come and don't be waiting for IREF. Because that's the mistake people made in the last presidential election. They just, we're waiting for IREF. IREF must give us our results. IREF is not a result collation platform. And it was so good that before that presidential election, before the decision of the Court of Appeal at the presidential, Osun State election petition was already settled at the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled that IREF is not a result collation platform. It won't even be admissible. It is at best a viewing portal, a viewing center. So if you don't have your from ECS from your respective polling units, which it is what you can use to prove that I scored 100 votes in polling unit A, and in the tabulation I was given 10. This is it. Signed by INEC, signed by police, signed by all this thing. So that is the only time the court can adjudicate for you. If you go and start telling the court in a local government, I believe I won. I was not. The court is not for that Christmas. They will not go and start fishing it for you. So please, they know it. They are all politicians. I'm not one. I'm not a politician. They are all politicians. So they should know all these things by now. That if you need to go and prove any fraud, if you are hot, if you felt cheated, then get your facts right, take it to the court, and get justice.
Okay, so let's go to Kogi State. Now, there were reports of voter apathy, and of course, a particular governorship candidate refused to come out to vote. Let's have your reaction on that.
Well, I remember during the time of Adam Oshimole's second election, when he was to be elected, in the morning, who was the INEC chairman? Jega. In the morning, Adam Oshimole shouted, Jega has disappointed us. We have he was so shouted in the morning after going to vote, and in the evening, when the result was in his favor, he praised Jega to high heavens. In the morning, INEC has failed. INEC did not do anything. INEC, in the evening or the next day when he won, he praised INEC and praised Jega. You see, I am surprised at the person of Dino Melaye.
Okay, so we're trying to avoid the names.
Okay, sorry. I'm surprised at the person that, I saw it in the social media. I saw it everywhere. That say he's not going to vote because he's compromised. So how do you seek redress? You do not seek redress by boycott. Boycott is not, it's not a ground in our law for you to nullify an election. Low turnout is not a ground in our laws because the Constitution does not give any threshold as to the number of people that must cast their votes. Remember in the last presidential election, they say they collected about 90 million PVCs.
Yes.
We had 24, I just rounded up to 24, about 23 points. We had about 24 or 25 million people that voted. That is about 25% of those that collected PVCs. So they will have a sitting president with 8.8 million. Is it 8.8 million votes? Now, we say we're a country of 200 million. We had adult voting population of about 90-something million, and we have a legitimately elected president with 8 million. He's going to rule Nigeria for the next 4 years. Because there's no constitutional threshold that says you must
secure a certain number of votes.
There must be a certain number of turnouts. They only said you must secure 25% of the vote cast, not the PVC collected though, of the vote cast in at least 2/3 of the state. So if it is only 10 people that come out in the state to vote, and you had 4 votes or 3 votes, it's 25% now. You'll be declared winner. So anybody that said he's boycotting at this point, you have already shot yourself on the foot, because even now you cannot go to a regular court. You can only go to election petition tribunal to air your grievance. And election petition tribunal has a different set of rules altogether than the regular courts. So the rules that you take there is, okay, you went there to say I didn't vote because I'm not comfortable with the decision. Is that the rule? Is that what you're going to take there? And then you now incite supporters, band of supporters, and then they will now start having misgiving about the judiciary, begin to cast aspersion on the judiciary when you didn't prepare your case. So it is wrong. It is very, very wrong. And even this can be a ground for even his opponent to disqualify his vote, because they will say on that day the said candidate came up and said he was not in the race, and they will show evidences that such. So I don't think that was the as a sportsman. Even if you see what happened in football. My team won Arsenal the other day, and
you just had to go there.
You had to put that.
You had to go there.
And they didn't. Arsenal player didn't walk out of the field and said because of that goal they will not play.
Sports and politics are different.
Politics, there has to be sportsmanship.
Okay.
Sportsmanship. That is why you see that in America, only Donald Trump has turned that narrative. The moment results are remember what happened between George Bush and the former vice president? How many votes in Florida? The moment they declared that George Bush won the election, the man called him and congratulated. That has been the practice.
Absolutely.
So that is the spirit of the sportsmanship that is there to be in politics. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, look at how many elections.
But we witnessed it in 2015, and we hope that we can
exactly.
We need to take a break now.
In 2015. So it has happened in Nigeria before.
Yes,
even at the highest level,
yes,
it has happened.
So we need to take a break now. When we come back, the conversation would continue. Please stay with us.